Welcome to the Wed Pro Podcast, the show for wedding professionals and business owners.
Each month, we bring you top industry experts, business chat, and hints and tips to grow your business.
I'm Katie.
And I'm Roxy.
Welcome to the Wed Pro Podcast.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Wed Pro Podcast. It's lovely to have you here with us today.
Hi. So for those that don't know us, I'm Katie and this is Roxy.
Hi.
And we help wedding businesses build better, more profitable businesses. And today on episode 1 of season 3 of our podcast, we're going to be talking about marketing and making sure everything in your business is ready for upcoming engagement season.
That's it.
Not only your marketing, but also in your business as well. So it's worth kind of saying, isn't it, that 40% of all engagements happen between kind of November, so Feb 14th, with the bulk of those happening between Christmas and Valentine's Day. And actually, according to When Why, I don't know if you knew this, Roxy, but actually Christmas Day is the most popular day to get engaged. I would have thought it was Valentine's Day. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I don't know, but still, these next few months are going to be big, so we need to make sure that you guys, we all need to make sure that we are utilising this to the max, don't we, really? Like, it's a massive
100%. So Christmas Day is the most popular day to get married, to get engaged on, followed closely by Valentine's. And then obviously there's all other sorts of special days coming up, such as, Christmas Eve, New Year's Day. So that means in your business, exactly what Roxy was saying, a whole new cohort of new engaged people researching for their wedding and thinking about what their day is going to be like. And actually, half of all couples who have got engaged start planning their wedding within a month of their engagement.
I was just going to say, that excitement's there for them. Like me, when I got engaged, I was like, right, we need to find a venue, this, and this. So, like, right at the beginning is when that excitement is fresh and new, and we really got to harness that, haven't we?
Yeah, and that's when people are going to be sat coming across your businesses for the first time and researching as well. Interestingly, 56% of couples only consider booking a supplier that they can find on social media. So that's something quite interesting, isn't it? That if you're not kind of showing up on social media, or you're not on social media at all, that's just something to kind of consider. And remember that most of the planning now predominantly happens from people's phones as well. And kind of your social media isn't just a way for couples to find you and for you to be bringing those couples into your business. It's also a way that people are vetting you as a business and seeing whether you as a supplier are right for their wedding and whether they can trust you with booking their wedding and for you to carry out that vision in your wedding as well.
Yeah. It's really important to say at this time, as we're talking about clients, things like that, before you begin any marketing, I would recommend, and we always say this, is get to grips with your ideal client. And we must say this so often, but this is so true. In order to make your marketing be as effective as it can be, you need to make sure that you're niching down on your ideal client. It's not enough just to say, I'm a photographer, my ideal client is brides and grooms. Not good enough. You need to really...
Yeah. And this is actually... Yeah, 100%. And we'll cover ideal client in a little bit more detail, but exactly what you were saying in terms of knowing that ideal client beyond demographics. The demographics such as, my ideal client is getting is between 25 and 45 and they're getting married. It's not enough. And we'll go into a little bit more depth as well. But it's now, and this is what we're covering in this podcast today, now's the time to making sure that your marketing's on point, so you can attract the clients that you want to work with over like the next 12 to 18 months. And actually, interestingly, because of the pandemic, a lot of the marketing that we'll be doing now, you may find in your business already that you are already booked up for next year. So you've already booked up for 2022 with brides and grooms and couples that have postponed their wedding. So actually the marketing that you're going to be doing now is going to be bringing in the money into your business for the next sort of 2 years in your business. So engagement season is a huge opportunity for your business, and the way that you're going to utilize it as a business owner is going to determine your income and how busy your calendar is going to be really for the next kind of 2 years. So it really is the time to knuckle down on your marketing and get a plan together to kind of go forward into wedding season. So it's interesting that you kind of mentioned ideal client, Roxy, and if we kind of go into a little bit more detail about ideal client and kind of getting a plan ready for engagement season, one of those things 100% is ideal client. So we touched there, it's about knowing who you serve in your business, and that it is somebody that you want to know in a little bit more detail than, hey, I'm a photographer. That's the example that you gave. Hey, I'm a photographer. You know, my ideal client is a couple getting married that wants fantastic photos for the day.
Because that's a given, right? Like, all your ideal clients are going to be couples getting married. Lovely, fantastic. That's something that you already know, but you really need to kind of break down, you know, each and every part of your ideal client in order for you to be able to attract your ideal client. There's no point having an ideal client if you're not going to be attracting them by using, you know, that value that is important to them, and you know, the copy that's important to them and that resonates with them.
So we've got some questions that I want you to kind of think about in terms of ideal client, and then in terms of your whole marketing plan as well. And these are things that you don't necessarily have to put together into a plan, but if you do want to put them into a plan, we've got some resources that we can help you with that, so that you can just have something that's a little bit more in front of you. So do you understand your ideal client beyond their demographic? So the demographic, like we said, for example, age 25 to 45, somebody getting married. But do you know what they care about, what they're passionate about? Do you know what they value as people? And this question is going to be really fundamental to how you plan your marketing content going forward. You know, what kind of language you're going to use, what kind of platforms you're going to be on, what kind of platforms you're not going to bother being on. You know, how often you blog, what sort of language you use in your blog as well. And then marketing to different people will always involve different language, different strategy, maybe even different platforms that you kind of want to be on. So yeah, that's 100% really important to kind of get to grips with your ideal client.
What I would do is I'll put the some links to a few bits and bobs for ideal client into the show notes for you all to, you know, take a look.
Yeah, 100%. Another thing, just to take it back a little step, in terms of how you're going to get yourself ready for engagement season going forward, I'd say the kind of first point there is to kind of make a plan. And we'll chat to you about some kind of questions. Like we said, do you know your ideal client? And there's a couple more questions that you can kind of think of and put them together. But whenever we make a plan and me and Roxy sit down and think about the next few months in our business or how we want that to look, one of the things that we do, and we especially do this at kind of the end of the year, is we look back over our business in the last kind of 12 months or 6 months, and we really think about what's worked in our business and what hasn't worked in our business. And these are things that you really need to get to grips of. You know, we're massive fans of, you know, only doing what works and cutting out what doesn't work, because, you know, who wants to waste their time? Nobody. So these are only things that you can kind of really know from experience. So kind of look back over the past sort of 12 months in your business, or the last time you were kind of marketing an engagement season. Were there anything in your marketing that really stood out? Was there a particular platform that, you know, lots of couples found you on? Was there, did blogging really work for your business? And just have a think about that.
Think about this one is.
No, go on.
If you don't already kind of track your stats and things like that, it's absolutely fine. But now's the time to start for future kind of marketing plans that you're going to put together. But you can just go back into your insights on your, you know, your social media platforms. They've all got insights in there. Go and check out your blog, see which ones are getting the most reads. You know, go and look at every part of your business which touches your client, and take a look what was working well. Why did it work well? And definitely repurpose those things as well, and kind of reuse those elements to make it work again.
Yeah, 100%. And I think a lot of this will be done on gut feel as well. So a lot of it you will know and understand from your gut that something worked particularly well and that blew up and got a lot of responses, whether that was, you know, an ad that you ran or whether it was a particular wedding fair that you went to and then you saw a lot of bookings. But in order to plan forward and to plan for the future, it is always a good idea just to look back at some of the stuff that you've already done and what's worked in the past for you and knuckle down on that. When you don't have a plan, it's proven that you usually get, well, not usually, mostly get considerably worse results than when you do. So having a clear plan. Another kind of question to think about is whether you have a clear goal. So for engagement season, let's say, do you have a clear goal in your mind about the number of bookings that you want to attract, the number of weddings that you want to do, you know, going forward, or a revenue amount that you want to kind of hit? And that's then going to determine kind of efforts in other areas, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Because if you haven't got a goal, then you've got nothing to work towards, and it's always nice,
and
especially
and for motivation as well, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. There's nothing better than smashing your goal. Every time we set goals within our business, it drives me to make sure we 100%. Get there, and it just really, really helps with that motivation as well. If you're not setting goals, and you're not kind of looking back at what worked well and what didn't work well, you're going to spread yourself too thin all over the place, a little bit over there, a little bit like dabbling in that bit over there, and it's not measurable at all, is it? It's not. No,
and I don't know if you've ever had a day go by at work or a week go by at work and think, oh, actually, what have I achieved there? Or what have I actually, you know, I've been really busy, and all of us can get busy working in our business, and, you know, some of the things I've been doing this week are stuff that is going to like work for the bigger picture. So I've been making some changes in our website, but that won't necessarily bring in revenue today, and it won't necessarily bring in things that I can see today. But having those goals also helps you break down tasks. So, you know, this is my overall goal. I want to, you know, book 45 weddings next year, let's say. What do I then need to do to achieve that on a monthly basis, on a weekly basis? And if you just kind of want to think, and you think that 12 months is too far ahead, just look at it as this engagement period. So this period from kind of November up to February, the next kind of 4 months in your business, that you do need to start thinking about these things now so that you're ready for when those clients are finding you. And just sort of think about the goals that you want to set for this engagement period as well. And that's not too far in the future to be smashing those goals, is it, Roxy? And then to get motivated by that as well, that, you know, really envision in your mind how that is going to feel when you hit that target, when you hit that revenue amount that you've said, when you
I personally do a little dance.
Like a little happy dance. We did this when we and Roxy had the bridal shop. For those of you that know our story and know our background, we used to have a bridal shop, didn't we? And every time we kind of made a sale, we'd come down the stairs, because most of our change rooms were upstairs, and we'd kind of like have a little dance, I've made a sale dance. And
that feeling when I used to come down the stairs, like, oh my god, I can't wait to tell the girls. It was the same excitement every single time, and that's what we're all here for, you know, to help couples. Like, we're all doing this for our own kind of reasons, whatever that is. When you smash them goals, oh my god.
Yeah, and you know, you don't need it to be something that is written. And for those of you that are quite creative, this is something actually that I do need to redo, and maybe we'll end up having to do a podcast on goal setting, Roxy. I think that would be quite helpful. But when we did vision boards, so we did vision boards in 2019, 2020, didn't we, where we made vision boards and we asked our members to kind of make them with us, and then I set mine as my phone background.
And I've actually still got it on. Crazy.
Yeah, me too, 100%. I've hit everything on there apart from the get healthy one. That's the only one I haven't, like. But to be honest, it's not like I'm majorly unhealthy anyway. And to be honest, I have cut out meat, haven't I, a little bit? So I have got healthier than I probably was. But so yeah, I'm saying I've smashed everything on my vision board without. And actually, it's quite funny that so if you're a kind of creative person and you want to kind of make a vision board or stick ideas down, cut out bits from magazines, make something on Canva.
I was going to say Canva. We always drop the C word in there, don't we?
Yeah, the Canva word, 100%. But yeah, that's how we made ours, weren't we? And we put ours as our background on our phone. So it was something that we looked at multiple times a day without really even thinking about it. And how funny, actually. And I'm going to say all of the goals I have set in this way, I have hit. I don't know about you, Roxy, but all of the goals that I have set, I have hit in this way.
I have, yeah, as well. Again, apart from, I think it was like lose 2 stone or something ridiculous. Just more of a personal one.
Which you don't need to do. Let's just say you don't need to do. But you did. You hired a personal trainer. You got fit in lockdown. You know.
This is true. Yes, good point. So yeah, but yeah,
this is true.
Keep an eye out for that one, guys, because that is something that we will definitely do in the future because it's so helpful for everybody.
Okay, so another thing for you to really get to grips with is, do you know what problem you solve? And are you communicating that anywhere?
I think for this kind of thing that we're talking about now, I don't know, for quite a lot of, and I hope that you guys can relate with this, is that maybe that can be a little bit of a confusing question, like, what problem do we solve? Like, do we solve a problem? But everybody solves a problem for their clients. You've just got to work out what it is. Don't let any of this kind of be daunting to you as well. Anything we tell you today is not going to be anything, that's going to be confusing to you. We're going to break it down step by step, but working out what problem you do solve is like one of the fundamentals.
It's critical. And if I could kind of give you an example, the important thing here is to actually know that the problem you solve is what your clients want you to solve. So you haven't assumed that as well. So if I give you an example, so if the problem you think you solve, so let's say you're a wedding planner and you solve the problem that your ideal client is really stressed, they're really time strapped, and you're going to plan their wedding for them and take all that stress and time, give them lots of time back, and that's an amazing thing that you do. But are you assuming that that's what you do, or do you know for a fact, because your clients and ex-clients and the market research that you've done in your business, is that a fact that that the brides you want to work with appreciate that part? Because if you assume something in your marketing, you can fall into the trap of marketing something to your ideal client that they actually don't care about. So go back and talk to your best clients, and just ask them the question. Sometimes you could be making an assumption on what's important when actually it's not something that your ideal client has considered. So, for example, in that instance that I gave you, it could actually be that the couples that you work with want a unique wedding, or they appreciate the creativity that you bring to the table, the experience that you've got. Instead, and that actually is what matters to them. They don't want a cookie cutter wedding that looks exactly the same as their brother's wedding and their cousin's wedding and the wedding that they went to last year. And they want fresh ideas. So it's not so much about the stress and the time that matters to them. It's more that they want a unique look on their wedding, and bring unique ideas to the planning process. So
on this point, actually, I've been recently. We have a brand new subscription service, which we will tell you about a little bit later on. But I've been business profiling, taking a look at all the businesses that we've kind of got in there, and I've been going over people's websites to look at, what what ideal client they are marketing to, and I've been really, really pleasantly surprised the amount of businesses that are kind of using copy that really talks to their ideal clients, and their pain points on their website. So if that's something that you think you might need to go and have a look over, it's really important to make sure that, all of this is in line with talking to your ideal client.
100%. Just make sure that you're proposing a solution to the problem that your client actually has.
What pain points have they got?
Because why would someone book you if you're proposing a solution to a problem that they don't even have? So yeah, 100%. Think about those pain points, like you were saying, and make sure that you're addressing that in your copy. Something else that's really worth doing, not just actually, this is something that people tend to do very early on in their business and then never kind of look at it again. But have you analysed what your competitors are doing and who your competitors are targeting so that you can stand out from them? So have a little look, go and have a look at your competitors. You might find actually that your competitors aren't even your competitors because you talk to two different types of ideal client, but it's really great to have a look at what your competitors are doing so that you're able to find something unique, find a unique way of marketing your business. Have a look as well at where they're marketing. So this opens up opportunities then as well. So look at how they're marketing and where they're marketing and look for gaps. So perhaps they don't have a blog and there's an opportunity there for you to have a blog and for you to be kind of dominating that space and really seeing a lot of business growth in that field. Or maybe they're not on Pinterest and that's somewhere that you can be on and you can be kind of getting clients from that. And as a result of kind of looking at what your competitors are doing, you might decide that you can fill those gaps and go and kind of dominate in the fields that they're not even marketing in.
Don't get too hung up. It's like a fine balance. Like go and look at what they're doing, but don't get too hung up on what they're doing as well, because that can kind of
yeah. It's not there for you to compare. It's there for you to kind of say, right, okay, so let's say the examples I get, you know, they're all over Facebook, but they're not doing anything on Pinterest. Could you be on Pinterest and be picking up couples? And there's so many couples, like 80% of couples use Pinterest. And you could be going over there and dominating that space and really picking up on those people that are left on the table, really. Something that we really love, have you set yourself up as the go-to person in your niche? So do you have a clear idea of the person you serve? And do you have that kind of in a sentence in your mind? So it's really interesting what you were saying, Roxy, there about the websites that you were looking over. Has it been clear within the kind of first instance, you know, first page that you hit, that this is what this website, you know, this is the person that they're marketing to. This is really speaking to me as a client, as a bride. And what were your thoughts on that, Roxy? Were people really hitting that, or is that something that people can generally kind of improve on?
Overall, quite good. There were some that I thought, I'm not quite clear kind of what direction
what you do
here, but the majority were using, you know, words that I'd imagine that they have, you know, done in an ideal client profile, because what I was seeing was like very specific words for that business, which was quite nice, like unique. Maybe some people wanted like extravagant, some people wanted relaxed, like it was all in there. But these kinds of words are all going to, again, back to the ideal client, probably going to get bored of us saying that, are all going to come from that ideal client profile that you're going to have to do. And it's something as well, an ideal client profile is something that you're going to have to keep repeating as well. And some people have more than one, don't they?
100%. And I've got a really good tip for that, actually. Remind me to come back to that in a minute.
Yeah, okay.
So it does need to be insanely obvious to somebody that finds you either on your website, on your Facebook, on your Instagram. And this is something that's quite often just talked about in terms of website, but actually it's also the audiences that are finding you in other avenues, such as, you know, Instagram, or finding you on social media, or finding, you know, your listing that's kind of on Hitched or wherever it is. It needs to be insanely obvious what you do and who you serve immediately to the people that come. So it needs to be front and center, across all of those platforms as well. So just make a little list as to where you show up, where can people find you online, and just make sure as well. And definitely, as your ideal client evolves, you might have started your business, you know, serving clients at a particular price point, and then as you've kind of evolved your business, you might, you know, have raised your prices, raised your ideal client, and that potentially needs you to kind of go and have a look to just make sure that everything is matched and on point.
Like your business strapline.
100%. And you need to have a clear idea of who you serve in a sentence. So, for example, maybe you're the go-to wedding stationer for creative couples wanting to completely design their own stationery but don't have the means to do that, and you are the person that's going to dominate in that niche, and the people that are going to want stationery that you know, maybe they're really creative people, really creative couples that want, you know, all their ideas incorporated in stationery, but don't have the time or don't have the resources or don't have the equipment to do that. You're going to be the person that completely dominates that niche. And this is going to be filtered into so much of your marketing as well, because that's then going to help you address those pain points that we talked about and be able to make sure that you're solving that problem. So, you know, the problem for this couple is that, you know, they're really creative, or perhaps they hold down full-time jobs and they don't particularly have the time to produce their wedding stationery. They might have talked to other wedding stationers that don't, you know, allow that creative process, or they've got specific set designs that people can have and they just want to get their ideas out of their head and onto paper. And you need to be that, you know, that person that says, this is what I do. It's immediately obvious that I'm the wedding supplier that you want to work with. Because the thing is here,
people want to do is be searching and hunting to try and make that connection. It's got to be instant, in the face, like, this is what I do, thank you very much.
100%. And the thing is as well, and I know that people listening will be able to relate to this, is that to a lot of couples, our businesses can seem quite samey. So you need to like communicate really clearly how you differentiate yourself to other people, because like we always say, if people can't find ways to differentiate you from another person, they will always choose the cheapest. And I don't know if you do this in your day-to-day life with what you do, if, you know, in your own research when you're looking for things, if you can't find, you know, comparables or ways to differentiate suppliers, people are only going to, they're just going to book the cheapest, and we don't want to be in that in that kind of price war situation. We don't want that for you, you know. So these are the things that you kind of need to be nailing down. So yeah, 100%. Let's just come back to that point again. Is your marketing aligned across all your channels? And because I mentioned the ideal client thing, so quite often with ideal client, what people kind of tend to do is either, you know, bullet point it out or mind map it out as to kind of things that their ideal client is, their demographics, where they work, etc. Something that I think works particularly well for the wedding industry is to do like a mood board of your ideal client and what their wedding looks like, because that then really visualizes it, and you can pop little words in there as well, what their whole wedding looks like, you know, what they kind of watch on the television, what their kind of jobs are, what their budget for their wedding is, for example, you know, whether they're professionals in their work, whether one of the businesses that we're working with inside of our content club, actually, when I saw their description of their ideal client, they said their focus is on business owners planning their wedding. And I thought, oh, wow, like what a niche to kind of tail down to. So that obviously is going to be on their ideal client board and their vision board. But this is something that you can do instead of it having something that's quite flat on a piece of paper that might not mean a lot to you, it's more of a business exercise. I think doing something and building something in kind of Canva, or, you know, other kind of graphic design software that you kind of already use in your business, just kind of pulls that to life a little bit more. And then you can print that off and stick it on your notice board so that you're kind of looking at that client all of the time, so that when you come to write your copy, or you come to write posts for social media, or you come to write emails, you know, that ideal client is up there on your notice board, staring you in the face, can't go wrong, not going to forget at all.
What you could also do is you could have like an ideal client cheat sheet. So you've got like your main, you know, thing, but so you're hitting that copy, like smashing it and everything's aligning. Have a little cheat sheet, maybe write it in the front of your notebook. All the important things that I need to remember or need to keep referring back to, I always write it on like the hard page of my notebook, so that it's there all of the time. So if, I don't know, you've not got your main client profile knocking around, you can be like, oh, okay, these are the words that are important, you know, these are the feels that I've got to get across. And then it's always there. You're always going to nail it every time. And the more 100%. You do these kind of exercises, let me tell you, the easier they do become. It might feel quite alien doing it to begin with, and it might take a couple of goes, which is absolutely fine. What we don't want you to do and what to happen is that you're not enjoying it. It's like Katie says, it doesn't have to just be, let's write it on some paper. You can get creative with it. do it over a couple of evenings if that's what you need to do, just so you get it on point.
Yeah, and then this next question I'm going to ask you to think about as well will really help with the ideal client thing. So do you know where your clients are finding you currently? Do you have a process in your business? Do you ask your clients? And are you measuring that as well? So are you kind of writing that down, or you're making a mental log of it? Because we want to do more of what works, don't we? So, if you're investing a lot of time maybe in ads and they're not particularly converting, if people found you at a certain wedding fair, they're the ones that you're going to want to be investing your money in again. If people are predominantly finding you on Instagram and not really on Facebook, these are the places that it's going to tell you as a business owner where to prioritize your time and prioritize your resources and money over the next few months in your business. And here's a good one that I'll link back to. Go on.
Sorry. So you don't want to be not wasting your time, but putting your time into something and you're not getting like the best out of it. So it's so important to look back and ask where they're finding you from, so then you know where to go in the future.
100%. And this is one that's going to really link back to that ideal client and really help you to mold that ideal client that we said. Do you know where your clients, the ones that you're currently working with and your past clients, booked you? Go and ask them. They'll be more than happy to tell you, this is why I booked you. I found you really friendly. I found you easy to talk to. I found, your website really easy to navigate. I loved that you brought this unique angle on our wedding. And these are the things and the words that they use and the things that you say to you that you can then use when you're attracting your next set of clients to work with in your business. So yeah, 100%. If you don't have a means at the minute to kind of be checking in on your past and current clients and asking them how they found you, why did they book you, definitely implement that into your business.
What actually is great about the wedding industry as well is you do have that chance to kind of brides get married and they move on, and then you get a new set of clients. So it's really go and find out, and then for future couples just keep on tweaking. It's kind of a process, but when you get it right, oh my god, you'll be doing the things I always do.
So something else to consider when we're going into kind of engagement season over the next 3 months is, have you decided what marketing channels that you're going to concentrate on for this season? So whether you're going to have a wedding fair, whether you're going to run an advertisement on a local wedding blog or a local kind of directory, whether you're going to focus on networking, SEO, Instagram, where are you going to concentrate your marketing efforts in the next 3 months? And have a think about that as well. And then you want to look at anywhere that your business is going to be found, and just make sure that your images are up to date, that your copy is up to date, that you are posting, so that somebody's not going to come over and find you on Instagram and found, and this is especially important in this after the pandemic, that they're not going to find that you haven't posted for 6 months, because it's going to look like you're not in business anymore. That's just how it's going to look. What we would kind of say is choose 3 that you're going to kind of hone down in and focus in your marketing efforts over the next few months. And maybe if you feel like you're comfortable on 3, and this isn't 3 where you need to think up new content for all of them, we'll do a podcast purely on repurposing content, but there's loads of blogs that we've written in the past, haven't we, Roxy, that you can find on our website, all about how you can repurpose content.
I'll put the link in the show notes for the blogs as well.
Yeah, so that this isn't 3 that you're going to have to think, oh my God, I've got to think up 3 sets of content. How am I going to do that? I'm a busy person. I'm still doing weddings from last year. We haven't even had a break. There are really easy tips and tricks where you can take one piece of content and repurpose that 3, 4, 5 times, and take that into all of your kind of marketing channels. But maybe that you feel like you're kind of comfortable on 3. You've got the wedding fairs that you down to a T. You've got a plan going on there with what you want to achieve at those wedding fairs. You're comfortable on Instagram. You're doing great things on Pinterest. Maybe at this point in your business, you might decide whether you're going to try out something extra. So you're going to try out some ads, or you're going to try out a new wedding fair, and just see where that takes you and whether that's good for you and your business.
just quickly, sorry, just going back to, checking images on your website, it's in line with your socials and your Pinterest, etc. This is something that I came across again when I was doing the looking over people's websites the other day, is check that your links work. Please. The amount of links that I clicked on that took me to this page cannot be found. Like, this is not good enough. Again.
No, because, people, our patience is getting,
Oh, it is. I'm finding that with me with socials. I'm like, oh, that's not working right next. Mm-mm.
Yeah, and, we're in a highly competitive market. There'll be somebody else out there that has got all these things right, and we don't want that for you. We want you to be getting these basics right so that, and what kind of message does that send about your business or about your brand and, your attention to detail? When that person is then going to give you money to perform a task at their wedding. So a question to kind of ask yourself as well is what hasn't worked as well as you would have hoped over the last kind of few months, and taking stock of that and really thinking about that is going to then make marketing decisions in the future a lot easier. So then something to kind of consider when we're looking at, what marketing channels that you want to be on is that opens up kind of a whole new set of questions like how often am I going to post? What social channels am I going to post on? What sort of content am I going to design and post? How often am I going to make that content? How often am I going to post? If it's SEO that you're going to be concentrating on the next few months, how often are you going to blog? How often are you going to research those keywords and kind of change those keywords on your website? And that's something for you to kind of think about over the next, in line with these questions in terms of, where you're going to focus your efforts and focus your time as well, so that you're not kind of stretched too thin.
So I've got a little tiny top tip. I'm hoping that lots of you have already got this, but if you haven't, go and check out Google My Business. It's a free thing that you can set up with Google, that when couples are searching on Google, the Google My Business places will pop up first, and you also get like your first few lines of your website on there, and you can also put like a little blurb on there again, so that strap line we was on about earlier, it's really gonna entice your ideal clients to click on it. That's a great place that you can set that up for free, and if you've got a premises, you can put it on the map. It's really, really worth going to check out.
And that's something as well. So just as you mentioned that kind of location thing, this is just a tip that I was chatting to one of our clients yesterday, our social media clients yesterday, about, is that, geotagging your posts over on Instagram as well. So that's something that's so easy to do, to just say, this is where I'm based. And Reels, we're going to get location tagging on Reels really soon as well. So if you're not tagging your location, it's just so easy to do. You can do it in your posts, and it just means that you're going to pop up in the places where your ideal clients are hanging already, and the places that they're already looking for their venues. So this is something, if you are trying to attract couples that are looking at particular venues in your area, you don't need to tag your location as to where you're physically sat. You can tag the venue in your location of your post, so that the brides that are then checking in at those venues or looking around those venues and looking at the content at those venues, your social media marketing will pop up as well. So that's just a really good tip there. So something to kind of bring it all together is do you kind of feel scattered in your marketing, or do you feel like you've got a clear plan of where you kind of want to go and the tasks and the projects then that you need to complete to get bookings over the next few months in your business? And what we kind of find is that most marketing professionals don't have a plan or a strategy. And in particular, they don't have one at engagement season. And this is because they don't know how to create one. So in those questions that we kind of I've outlined, and there's one more that I'm going to chat to you about in a minute, have you decided what you're going to track and what you're going to measure over the next 3 months? So this is really important, because then when you come kind of next year to look at what's worked and what hasn't worked, these are what's going to give you the insight and the knowledge to be able to make informed choices, rather than fly by the seat of my pants marketing decisions where you're kind of chucking a load of spaghetti on the wall and hoping something sticks, and you're gonna get a book in there. So have you decided?
That's a stressful way to do it, and we no one needs that, do they? We're busy. You've got loads of weddings going on. So the more strategically planned this is, the smoother it's going to run.
And then it helps you make decisions year on year in your business as well. So what are you going to track and measure? So are you going to track, for example, clicks to your website from Instagram? Are you going to track clicks to your website from all of the marketing channels that you're on, and then be able to see over a pattern in time, you know, where are the clicks coming from? Where do you need to focus your efforts? Are you going to track the number of hits to your website? Are you going to track the number of reads to your blog? How many meetings you have with clients? How you're ranking for particular keywords, if you're going to focus on SEO over the next few months. And that's going to really measure your success and whether what you're doing is working or whether anything kind of needs tweaking in order to be able to hit those goals that you thought about in one of our previous questions. And in order to really have like a successful business and to make things easy for yourself and less stressful, like Roxy was saying, kind of a plan of some sorts. We're not having to say, look, you know, get your diary out, get your 400-page notebook out and fill every single page with, you know, this is what I'm going to do. But having an idea and answering these questions and bearing these questions in mind is really going to help you move forward in your business and be able to measure your marketing efforts properly, rather than just doing kind of all of the things with no clear direction of where you're going or what you want to achieve. Like, how are you going to know that you've achieved something if you don't know what you want to achieve in the first place?
All of the gear and no idea. This is my new saying.
All of the gear and no idea.
No idea. No, it's really important, because then you know those times in your business where you are a little bit quieter, you know, thinking into the future. Here I am. You can quickly put together like a marketing plan if you need to, rather than just kind of doing it a bit like trying to, like you were just saying, throw spaghetti at a wall and seeing what sticks, because no. 100%.
And then it's going to, you know, in those times you think, oh my God, like, what can I do to pull in? Going and looking at what has worked in the past. You know, you've got something there, you've got a framework there that has worked in the past already. So inside of, we're going to pop a link for a free 7-day trial underneath for those of you that haven't checked out our resources inside of our Wedding Business Academy. We have got all of the tools for you to be able to make this plan. And like we said, most wedding professionals don't have a marketing plan or strategy in particular that they kind of follow because they don't really know how to put one into place. So we've kind of taken these key areas: ideal client, marketing strategy, even stuff such as, you know, workflow. So once you've got people inquiring with your business, how you then push them through your workflow and convert them into a paid for client, and measuring those KPIs. So measuring those things that you're going to want to measure in your business, such as maybe audience tracker, etc. All of this and all of the tools that you need to be able to make a really good, strong marketing plan for any point in your business, not just the engagement season. Plus, we've got a marketing planner inside there as well, haven't we, Roxy?
Yeah, we have and all of the ideas. So, like,
all of the gear and the ideas, and you can have it too as well. So that you're able to kind of create a marketing plan, go into engagement season kind of strong, standing out from your competitors. And now's the time to be really taking action on all of those things, because people are going to be checking you out really, really soon. And so now's kind of the time to making sure that your marketing is up to scratch, that the words are all aligned, that the links click where they're meant to click. And like we said earlier on as well, that you're actually going to find, due to the pandemic and already being, maybe you're already kind of booked up for 2022, or if you're not booked up for 2022, a lot of suppliers have to come together to make a wedding work. So somebody else might be, which then means that your couple is considering a date further in the future. So the kind of things that you're going to be doing now are going to be reflecting what your income is going to be for kind of the next 2 years.
And actually, doesn't that give you a nice bit of security, that nice feeling of, okay, like, we've got like that covered, and then it's kind of like gives you a stepping stone, not just for the next 2 years, but continuing that on as well, because it's going to be like, you're not playing catch up, you're actually in front of it here.
100%. And that's where the panic and the overwhelm can really come in, can't they? When you feel like, oh my word, what am I doing? I've got no idea. I need to think of another analogy apart from chucking spaghetti at a wall. But like where you're just thinking, I'm just going to pose there, I'm going to do a bit over here, I'm going to do a bit over there, and not really have a clear idea where you're going forward, or types of language that you need to use, or, you know, marketing that's worked in the past, marketing that hasn't worked in the past, whether you're solving a problem that somebody actually doesn't really need in your business. So yeah, hopefully we've kind of given you quite a few ideas there of how to kind of position yourself over the next couple of months and what you need to be getting ready. Head over to the Wedding Business Academy and get your hands on all of that stuff and your free trial, so that you're able to kind of so that you're kind of able to start putting all of that together for you and your business. If you need any help with us, we're more than happy to kind of take a look through things as well, aren't we, Roxy? We'll pop the details down below if anyone's struggling on social. So if you feel like your socials aren't really aligned with where you're going in the future and you just want to make sure that that's speaking to your right client, we'll pop the link in there so that you can book in with a chat with us, and we'll take a little look over your socials as well. What we tend to do as well is we look over your website as well, don't we, Roxy? So we kind of like
those kind of things. That.
Open up your marketing, open up your website, open up your socials. But yeah, really great to chat to you. Lovely first episode back. I feel really motivated to kind of go and crack on with some good work now. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you soon, guys.
Take care, guys.
Take care. Bye.